KU Leuven World News. This is the Law Talk with Rachel Stewart. Today we're going to discuss the association agreement with Morocco. We have together with us in the studio the ambassador from the Moroccan government, Mr. Asram El-Bawahri, and from DG External Relations of the European Commission, Mrs. Catherine Michel. We're going to have a connection with Berlin and Paris and our two legal experts, and also with Barcelona, where our economists will give us the latest. But first, let's see a small reportage with the main facts of the agreement.
Africa on one side, Europe on the other.
Well, the framework of the association agreement includes a number of things which have already been done. But there were other things done by Morocco and the EU and developed by Morocco and the EU independently of the association agreement.
After this informative reportage, is there something else to be added?
Well, Ms. Stewart, as the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs stated before, the partnership between the European Union and Morocco does not only consist of this association agreement. It's dating back in 1969 when a trade agreement came into force, and then in 1976 when an agreement brought also a budget for the social and financial development of Morocco. After the signing of association agreement, we had another series of agreements consisting of agreements on fisheries, agreements concerning the scientific and technical cooperation. We have our participation in the Galileo satellite program, and there is also an ongoing negotiation concerning migration issues. So we can realize that Morocco and the European Union are on the same path, moving forward step by step together.
Well, Ms. Michel, let's go to the very beginning. Can you describe us the decision-making procedure that led to the adoption of this agreement?
First of all, I would like to point out that this is a mixed and a bilateral agreement. Concerning the decision-making procedure now, the European Community Treaty provides for the association agreements that the Council of Ministers decide by unanimity, and the assent of the European Parliament is required, and finally, the national parliaments of the member states and of the third country needs to ratify the agreement in order to come into force.
Well, very informative indeed. And which part of the acquis is exported?
So the export of the acquis communautaire takes place in an individual tailor-made manner.
One last question. Which are the institutions that have been established?
First of all, at the ministerial level, the Association Council is authorized by this agreement. The Association Council is represented by the Council and the Commission of EU, and one representative from the government of the Kingdom of Morocco. Secondly, the Association Committee is authorized, which is responsible for the implementation of the agreement. The Association Committee has the right to authorize other subcommittees for different sectors, such as human rights and trade.
So, Mr. Ambassador, how is the political dialogue organized?
Political dialogue is organized on multiple levels, starting with at ministerial level in the Association Council. We have at the seniors official level in the Association Committee, we have interparliamentary dialogue between the members of Parliament of Morocco and the members of the European Parliament. We have diplomatic channels which allow the interaction between the parties, and we have also dialogue between other officials, which enhance the political dialogue between the European Union and Morocco.
Well, Mr. Ambassador, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, thank you.
And now we're going to connect with Paris and our legal expert, Ms. Christelle Dupont. Ms. Christelle, can you hear us?
Good evening.
Ms. Dupont, does the agreement provide cooperation with the second and third pillar?
Well, yes, the agreement provides for cooperation in the third pillar, since Amsterdam Treaty is referred to as police, judicial, cooperation in criminal matters. Specifically, the Article 62 of the agreement lays down the provisions for the cooperation in combating drugs trafficking. The Article 61 also provides for establishment of standards against money laundering.
Well, thank you, Ms. Dubon. And what about the so-called direct effect?
Well, yes, there are provisions of the Euromed agreement which have direct effect. According to the existing case law, individuals have appeared in front of their national courts claiming direct effects of the agreement provisions, such as on worker rights and the right of establishment. But this doesn't exclude that other provisions of the Euro-Mediterranean Agreement do have direct effect.
Well, Ms. Dupont, thank you very much for your legal advice. And now we're moving to Berlin and Ms. Anna Maria Paul.
Good evening.
Ms. Paul, as an expert in human rights, what about the human rights clause that is included in the agreement?
Human rights have a prominent role in the agreement. They refer to the principles of the United Nations Charter, particularly to the observance of human rights and political and economic freedom as the basis of the agreement. Further, Article 2 of the agreement states the respect for democratic principles and fundamental human rights as established by the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, that they constitute an essential element of the agreement.
Well, thank you very much. And what are the consequences of the non-discrimination provisions?
So let me first say what non-discrimination provisions are in this agreement. There are non-discrimination provisions vis-à-vis nationals, companies or firms of either Moroccan or European Community territory. Title VI on cooperation in social and cultural matters sets out that Moroccan workers employed legally in one of the member states should not be discriminated as regards working conditions, remuneration, social security, pensions or family allowances. Thank you very much and good night from Berlin.
Well, thank you very much, Ms. Paul. It was very interesting indeed. And now we're moving to Barcelona and our economist, Mr. Alfredo Balbuena. Alfredo.
Good evening, Rachel. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, Alfredo, as money matters, what about the financial impact of the agreement?
MEDA 1 and MEDA 2 have been the major financial instruments in order to implement the European Mediterranean Association Agreement, while Morocco has been one of the leading beneficiaries of these resources. More than 1.6 billion euros have been allocated to support projects relating to public administration reforms, development of northern provinces, infrastructure projects, but also human rights and good governance.
Well, Alfredo, it sounds comprehensive and promising, but what about the adaptations that have been made after the EU enlargement?
Of course, it's implicit that the European Mediterranean Association Agreement is extended to the new member states after the enlargement of the 1st of May 2004. But in legal terms, whereas pursuant to Article 6 of the Act of the Accession Treaty, the Accession Treaty is extended to the European Mediterranean Association Agreement as agreed in the conclusion of the protocol, whereas consultations pursuant to Article 23 of the EMAA have been taken place in order to ensure that account has been taken to mutual interests of the new member states and Morocco. Amendments and adjustments concern, among others, agricultural products, processed agricultural products, and rules of origin.
Well, thank you very much, Alfredo.
Thank you very much, Rachel, and good night.
I would like also to thank Ambassador El Bawahri and Ms. Catherine Michel for being here with us, and also our links in Paris, Berlin, and Barcelona. It was Leuven in Leuven World News.